Happy Friday! I don't know if you guys can hear the music, but I'm jamming. How is everybody doing? All right. The live stream's going. What's happening? PhotoFin is here. We've just been chatting in the chat. If you haven't seen the chat, chatty chat. How's your week been, everybody? PhotoFin and I were talking about something really important, and super good topic for discussion, which is, and this is something we've talked about before, so I don't want to beat this thing home, but gear. And one of these days, I actually need to make the video with my Rebel XT, which is sitting on the shelf behind me. Yeah. All right. So what's with the flood, Michael? Hello, Tim, and hello, Red Van, and Michael. What's with the flood is the fact that we still have permafrost in the ground here in Wisconsin, and it's been 50 plus degrees, 40, 50 plus degrees the last few days, which means all of the snow is melting. So we have permafrost, and then all of the snow melting. And for the last 2 days, it was raining. So there's actually some pretty serious flooding happening. And as a result, there are road closures and school closings. And Angela obviously didn't want to, and I didn't want Angela to take the risk of driving and having something horrible happening trying to drive on flooded roads. So we are rescheduling that shoot. The photo shoot is going to be, let me look at the calendar so I give you the correct date since I'm terrible with dates. April 5th. We rescheduled the live shoot to April 5th. So, hello to the person who has a cryptic username that I can't read. Hello. And hello, Sandy. And hello, Peter. And hello, Leroy. How is it going? Michael says, believe it or not, almost the same as close to happening here in Alaska. Okay, yeah, so it's bad. From Israel. Okay, well, welcome from Israel. Yes, Peter, I am still editing this photo. I mean, that's the running joke now, right? Is I'm editing. Now, before we even get into the editing, or my attempt at editing, and I think I actually might leave this one be for now, and bring up a photo to edit that's less demanding, so that I can talk and edit at the same time. But I know Tim has a masking question. So Tim, if you want to ask your question, you go right ahead. So photo, it's your parents' garage. Excuse me. Is it the flooding getting into your basement or house at all, PhotoFin? A couple of people that I've talked to, including Angela, actually said that they were having some flooding in their basements as well. We had a little bit of water, and by a little bit, I mean like a tiny amount, maybe a small pool of water about this big in our basement that I cleaned up the other day, and that's all we've had to worry about so far. But it also helps that our house is actually up on a hill here where we live in Wisconsin Rapids, so that helps quite a bit. Hello, Hamant. How's it going? It was about to, but we saved it in time. That's excellent. I'm glad that you guys saved it. The flooding is probably going to be pretty bad this year because of this combination of the ton of snow that we got, and then all of the cold, and then now we've got this rain and the snow melt. These are photos from the Cobra FM review that I was doing. That video is actually going to be going up next week. It was coming towards our basement, and so you stay in so you might have been flooded right out of your basement. I'm very glad that didn't happen, Finn. Very, very glad. But what I was going to do is grab one of the photos from this photo shoot that I still have to edit, because that'll be a little bit less mentally demanding for me to edit. We are not down by the peasants, my wife says. That's our joke, that we live up on the hill. So I wanted to show you guys something before we start editing. You may have caught glimpses of it as I've been gesticulating like the crazy person I am when I talk. But behind me, right there, you see that? That is the giant, it's essentially a giant light tent that I built for Angela to pose in for the next live photo shoot. The one that was supposed to happen today, but obviously we rescheduled because of flooding. So if you want to look at it, I will scoot out of the way so that you guys can see it. Finn says, me too. It's where I edit, shoot my videos, sleep, etc. Yeah, that would be awful, especially if any of your gear got damaged. That would have been even worse. But let me move out of the way so you guys can see this light tent that I made. It's pretty darn big. So I'm gonna scoot it up here. And I know you're only seeing like roughly half of it because the table is blocking the view. But this thing is a 4-foot cube, and it has fabric on the fronts, backs, and bottom. And Angela's going to sit inside of this and pose for the live photo shoot. So I'm super excited to use this for the photos. I think it's going to be super fun and super cool. And we've got several different ideas for photos that we want to create using this. The inspiration behind that light tent is Drake's Hotline Bling video. And if you've never seen Drake's Hotline Bling, just go ahead and, not now, later after the live stream, of course, but go to Google, just open a new YouTube tab, and Google Hotline Bling, and the video will come right up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The only thing I've got to figure out is where I'm going to keep it after the photo shoot. What I could do is just take it apart, because it's five panels. And if I take it apart, then I could store it pretty easily because all the panels will go vertical. But if I do that, I actually might remake one of the panels, because the back panel I mismeasured slightly, and so it's a little bit smaller than I'd like it. It'll work just fine, but I'd like it to be a little bit bigger so that the seams look a little bit cleaner. But regardless, I'm really excited to shoot in it. So, what have you guys been up to this week? Let me know in the chat. And Tim, what's your mask question? Go ahead and lay that on us, and then I am going to edit one of these photos. So I was actually working on one of them, so I should actually finish the one that I was working on. Here it is, right here. Did I finish this one? I think I might have finished that one. So let me see where I'm at with my editing, because I've not been editing super regularly. We'll just say it like that. Okay. Nope, that was the wrong place to go. Just looking to see if I've already exported particular exports. Here we go. So this one here is done. Okay, I did finish that one. And I did finish that one. Okay, so both of those are done. So that one and both of those are done, right? Sorry, guys. Let me keep track of where I am here with my editing. That one. Yep. Okay, so we need to go back to Lightroom then and grab... I think this one is the other one that I wanted to edit. Okay. My masking question is very basic for you, I'm sure. I just don't know how to order the layers to paint in or out the layer above or below. Does it make sense? Yes, it does. Finn says, it's hard for me to get time to shoot a video. I have 9 siblings, so quite a lot of noise. Holy smokes, yeah. That's a lot of siblings. That would be a lot of noise. And I live in the basement, so all of them running around upstairs. So you get a lot of this in your videos. Sandy, you miss all the noise. Okay. When I'm editing occasionally, I should start editing before bed again, yes. Occasionally when I'm editing or recording a video, I'll hear that same kind of noise, but it'll be the cats running around upstairs, which is pretty hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to open up this photo, and then, Tim, we're going to take a look at your editing and masking question. So I'm just making sure that this one is done here in Lightroom, and I think I actually want to increase the exposure a little bit more on this one. I like the hierarchy look. So that looks good. Everything else I'm going to leave the same as the other ones, and then we're going to fire this over to Affinity. And before I take it any further, I need to make sure that Affinity is ready to accept, which it is. That's not what I wanted to do, though, so I hit the wrong one. I need to open in. Yeah, I wish I had like an hour a day to shoot. It would be, yeah, it would be nice to be able to say, like, this is my quiet time. There's going to be no noise that will bother me. Okay, so to your question, Tim. First of all, you have to think about, it helps if you think about your image as sort of a spatially physical object, right? So right now, I have my first layer, which is the background layer. Okay, catch you later, Finn. Hello, Dean. How's it going? Why the picture is there? The picture is here for me to edit. But because I'm talking with you guys, I don't always get a whole lot of editing done. But that's why the picture is here. So let's say that this little notebook here is my background layer, right? And then I bring in another layer, and that layer is on top of the background layer, right? So I have this background layer, but once I put this other layer on top, you cannot see the background layer because it is covered by the other one, okay? Now, where the masking comes in is covering up parts of one layer to reveal the other layers that are below it. So now let's do that in practice. What we're going to do is grab a starburst light flare that I'm going to put into this globe. So I believe I have one of those in my place from cloud. I believe I have it in my assets folder here. And they're not downloaded, so I can't see them directly, so we're going to have to do this. Oh, no. Let's look at them in files because it's not going to show them to me otherwise. So, like iCloud Drive, Affinity Imports, Assets. And I just want to look for, like I said, I want to look for light flare real quick. All right, this is going to be obnoxious. So I know it's going to be... Let me look here on my computer because they're already downloaded and they will show up quickly and you won't have to wait for me to fart around. So I'm looking for Affinity Imports, Assets. I'm just looking for the right file. Let me find it. Here we go. Okay, I know which one it is now. So back to Affinity. I'm going to place from cloud this blue light flare right here. So when I drag this in, this is now a new layer in my image, okay? And as you can see, it is covering up the image below it, right? Just like this covers up the notebook. Now, the idea behind a mask is the mask will either hide or reveal parts of the current layer that is showing. So what I'm going to do is go to my layers here, and I'm going to add a mask. Now, in Photoshop, the masks are a little bit, very slightly different, but the same principle still applies. I'm going to apply an empty mask layer first. And in Affinity, an empty mask layer is a layer that is a mask that is filled entirely with the color black. And when I do that, the layer here now that we just saw, that lens flare, that has disappeared. And the reason it's disappeared is because the black is blocking this. So basically what that's saying to the software is that where black exists in the mask, do not show the layer that is above the background layer, right? So it would be like me tearing this little piece of paper in half, right? And the mask is now covering this half and revealing this half. And wherever there is white on a mask, that allows the thing that is on that layer to show. So visually, if you look at, in fact, let me do a quick screenshot so I can zoom in on this. There we go. Right, so if we look at the layers visually, what you see here is the blue layer. Okay, this is the blue layer right here, right? That lens flare. And the mask is right here, represented by that little mask icon. You can see that the mask is entirely black. And because the mask is entirely black, that image that I put in there is shown as black, as in it doesn't exist. You don't see it in the image at all. So now let me go back over here, and I'm going to select my brush, and I'm going to make my brush white, and I'm going to paint on the mask. And I've just selected the mask. You can see that it's outlined in blue there, hopefully. And when I paint on that mask in white, I'm going to turn my flow up quite a bit. I have to turn off that Protect Alpha. You can see that that lens flare starts to show up again. Okay, and if we go back here and we look at the mask, let me go back out and back in again so that visually, there we go. If we look at all of this again, let me select the mask and take another screenshot. Oops. Unlock. And if we zoom in, now you can see that on the mask, there's this white spot. The white spot is allowing, so the white spot here is allowing this part of the image to now show. And because that shows, you have this small piece of the top layer showing above the bottom layer on top of it. And just that part that I've revealed. So that's the basic idea behind the masking, Tim. And if you just remember this, right? The layer that's above will be hidden by black on the mask and will be revealed by white on the mask. That's the easiest way to try to remember it, I hope, for you. White reveals and black hides. And it's always the above layer that is revealed or hidden relative to all the layers that are below it. So I'm going to delete that. So now we are actually going to edit this, which means I'm going to turn that off. That all makes sense. I just have to apply it now. Okay, excellent. That's good. I'm glad it makes sense. All right. Okay, so let's actually do some editing. And I was going to talk about something else, but I forgot what it was. Oh, well. It's flown out of my head. What do you guys got planned for the weekend? I've got Magic tonight again, and I don't think we're doing anything. Oh, tomorrow we're supposed to go over to Angela's to play Cards Against Humanity. However, if the flooding is still flooding, then we might not be going over there because, obviously, just as we didn't want Angela to take any risk of hurting herself coming here or something horrible happening because she was driving in flooding, if the flooding is still happening, we won't be going over to Angela's tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we're supposed to do tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we can because that'll be a ton of fun. Dean says, big trade show in the UK this weekend, so off there to bust the credit card. Right. RPG evening tomorrow. Awesome. Yeah, Cards Against Humanity is fun. So, Peter, what RPG are you playing? Are you playing D&D or something else? Hey, Harley, how you doing, bud? How are you doing? I'm just looking at cleanup right now. I got a little bit of this right here to deal with. And then we can move on to her skin. And keep going on here. All right, Savage Worlds right now. Simple rules that's easy for newbies. That's cool. I've never heard of that one. But to be fair, I also am not involved in the tabletop role-playing game world in general. I'm not super duper into the Magic the Gathering world, although I am into playing Magic the Gathering. I love playing Magic the Gathering. In fact, I have this new deck that I made, and in that deck I have a giant frog creature as kind of like the main sort of piece of the deck, and I'm super excited to play that tonight. Hello from Bryce Canyon. How's it going, Cochise? How are you? Okay, not very old. It's only about 15 years old, so that is a relatively new tabletop game. This past weekend, they just held GaryCon in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, in honor of Gary Gygax. And if you're not familiar, if any of you are not familiar, Gary Gygax is the guy who created Dungeons and Dragons. That's looking a little bit better. All right, so I'm just looking at skin cleanup here, and got a little bit of something happening down here. Weekend is a bunch of friends over tomorrow for a visit, and Sunday I have to work on the dark theme too. I tried something last night, but not thrilled with the shots at this point, hoping the mask will help. Gotcha. I'm going to be shooting the dark theme either maybe today. If not today, definitely this weekend. Whether it's tomorrow or Sunday, I'm not 100% sure, but that is coming. That is on my to-do list for the weekend. And I'm excited about that because I'm going to be using the new softbox that I got that you guys saw last week, the newer one, and that's going to help me achieve the look that I want, and I'm really excited about it. So, question: do you guys, for those of you who are working on the dark theme for the challenge, who's already got it done and who's still got to shoot it this weekend? Let me know in the chat here. All right. I'm thinking this looks pretty good as far as cleanup goes. So we're going to go ahead and move on to skin softening. Shane, you're done. That's awesome. Way to get out ahead of it as I talk about waiting to the last minute to get it done. Yeah. I've always kind of been a bit of a procrastinator, which is not necessarily a great thing. In high school, I had this one time, you know, I probably don't even need to soften the skin, honestly. Yeah, I'm just going to delete that layer because of the haze created by the spray fog and the dry ice in this shot. I really don't think I'm going to gain anything out of skin softening, so I'm just going to leave that and skip right over to the dodge and burn. Worked on it, but not done. Such a procrastinator, the Virgos of the world are saddened. Hello, Robert Leach. How's it going? Yeah. Kim, my wife, always likes to give me a hard time about being an improper Virgo, and she has a fair point. So this happened in high school. Let me tell you this story. This gives you an idea of the kind of procrastinator I at least used to be. I don't think I'm as bad now as I used to be, but maybe that's something for my wife to judge better than me. But what happened was there was a report that I had due for, I think it was history class. And the teacher was kind of a notoriously not mean teacher. I am better, she says, but hard isn't even the right word. Although it was a difficult class, but I enjoyed it. But despite that, I had very, very badly neglected to do this 10-page report that was due the following Monday, and it was Friday that I was thinking about all of this, right? And then over the weekend, I continued to procrastinate, as the young me was, prone to doing. And come Sunday night, I realized, like, I was totally screwed because I had done zero work on my report. And so I prayed to whom or whatever you might pray to. I was like, please let school be canceled tomorrow. If school is canceled tomorrow, I will immediately begin working on my report and get it done. You're welcome, Robert. And get this. That Sunday evening, some kid broke into the bus station and broke a bunch of windows on a bunch of school buses. And they had to cancel school for that Monday because they had no transportation for the kids. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, I got a stay of execution. I got to work on that report, and I finished it. I finished it that day. I don't remember what grade I got on it. It was probably not the best grade in the world, but I finished the report and I turned it in. That kid was not me. It was not me. It was a kid in my class named Gerald, if I remember correctly. I think it was a kid named Gerald. But I don't remember. I don't know why. I mean, I wasn't friends with the kid, so I have no idea. So I need to hear from you guys some of your funny / embarrassing childhood stories. I've got another hilarious one to tell you guys. It would take me days to do a 10-page report. My mom would get it done in an hour or so. Difference between comp sci and English lit focus. Yeah. I was more of an English focus, and so I'm not going to say easy, But once I get going on writing, it's fairly easy for me to keep writing and just keep going. So I kind of hated reports, but at the same time, I did want to be a writer, so I kind of liked reports, which is kind of silly. Maybe it was because it was history. I don't know, but because I had an English class that I loved, like absolutely loved. And that one, I really enjoyed writing for that class. But I don't know, maybe it was the fact that it was that it was history. But I've got another hilarious story, a hilarious and totally embarrassing story that I'll share with you guys. But I need you guys to share your funny stories with me in the chat as well. Let me switch over to the burn brush now. So my other embarrassing, terrible story has to do with roller skating. When I was in middle school, I would go practically every weekend to the local roller rink, which was called the Rollerdrome in Madison, Wisconsin, where I grew up. And when I was in high school or middle school, when did I? Okay, I got to see what year this was. Let me look this up. Kicks my heart, Motley Crue. So the song that's related to this. Okay, so it was like middle school, right over the edge into high school. Because the song was Kickstart My Heart. And what happened was, I was at the roller rink with my friends. I'm pretty sure it was when I was in middle school. And Kickstart My Heart came on by Motley Crue. And if you're not familiar with Kickstart My Heart, it's a pretty jamming song. Some Motley Crue fans hate it. Some Motley Crue fans, like me, love it. And the song came out. I was like, oh my God, that's my song. I gotta go skate. But here's the deal. What they would do occasionally at the roller rink, and this I think is a pretty standard roller rink thing, is they would periodically do things like a reverse skate, where normally you would go out and you would skate at this rink. The normal rotation was to skate in a counterclockwise direction. But occasionally they do a reverse skate where you would skate in a clockwise direction. So what I did is Kickstart My Heart comes on. He's like, right? It's like jamming. And I'm like, oh my God, this is my jam. I gotta go skate. Right? So I was over by the video games in the roller rink, which were, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 feet from the entrance to the rink itself. And I like start putting on the speed because I want to like bust out into that rink and I want to be like flying. So I get out there and I bust out into the rink and I realize I'm going the wrong direction. So I'm like, okay, I can recover from this. And what I figured I would do is just kind of do a big old loop-de-loop to come in and actually start skating in the right direction. Basically pull a U-turn. But here's what I did instead. I pulled that U-turn with a ton of momentum. And then as I was coming back around to the wall where I was going to try to stop myself and turn around and start skating the right direction, well, instead what I did is I slammed into the exit door at full speed. The emergency exit door busted open, and I face planted right into a snowbank. And of course, everybody who was on the rink saw this. And then I crawled back inside, because you're on roller skates. And I don't know if you've ever tried to roller skate on wet roller skates, but you can't do it. I tried to stand up, and I immediately fell back down on my face and tried to stand up again. And basically had to crawl, hanging my head in shame, off of the rink over to the carpet where I could dry my skate wheels before I could skate again. And I tried to play it off cool, like I was cool and everything was fine, but I was probably like beet red in shame from the embarrassment of everybody watching me like just face plant into this snowbank and then fall on my face trying to climb back into the rink. It was awful. It was awful. So that was one of my. I still love Kickstart My Heart, yeah. But that always makes me think of that story. Shane, I've got a stomach bug and pooped in the bed last night in my sleep. I blamed it on the baby. Oh, that That sucks. But, I mean, I'd blame it on the baby, too. I hope you feel better, Shane. I hope you feel better. Sandy says, my most embarrassing was in gym class. They had other students hold down your feet while doing sit-ups. I farted in the girl's face. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Sandy, that's amazing. I would have died, too, if I was you, Sandy. Oh, my God, I would have died. Oh, my God, I would have died. I should actually do some dodging and burning here. Wow. Sandy, that's priceless. That is priceless. Kim, I split my snow pants in grade school trying to climb on a giant snowball. Wasn't too bad, though, since I had on regular pants underneath. Yeah, that's not so bad. Oh, man, I'm in tears. Yeah, it was not my finest moment as a roller skater or a teenager, period. Like, it was pretty bad, but pretty hilarious at the same time. And it is well worth the laugh these days. Oh, my God. Now I'm trying to think of other terrible, embarrassing things that I've done in my past. Because I know there's more than just that. Oh, what else did I do as a dumb child? I don't even know. Many, many things. The worst, one of the worst things that I ever felt was actually, it was embarrassing in a different way. See, when I was a kid, when I was about 10 years old, I would say, I gotta lower the flow of this a little bit. It's a little too intense because of the haze that we added here. So when I was in about 10 or 12 years old, my parents started a DJ business. And for my formative years, I went to weddings and spent my weekends, my Saturdays, and often, and Fridays and Saturdays at, I don't like the way that's looking. It's a little too aggressive. At weddings, playing music, helping people dance and have a good time and whatnot. And, as a person who is part of a business, you've got to be a professional sort, right? And there was this time where that and the fact that I was also a kid aligned in a way that made me feel like a horrible, horrible person. So what happened was, this was in high school, so I was old enough to drive, I know that much, so I was at least 16 years old, possibly 17, maybe not 18 because I graduated and I was still 17 actually. I went to college, I was still 17 when I entered college. So I was probably somewhere between 16 and 17 when this happened. And we had a substitute teacher. And during this time period, stop me if I've told you guys this story, but during this time period, in our high school, this is something that would never fly today, too. I think I've told you guys this story. Have I told you guys the water gun story? There was this game, like school-wide game going on called Murder, which would never happen today. And I think I've told you guys this story. And the basic idea was you would get a target. There were like the game writers, and then you would get a target, and you would try to murder that target. And there were rules like you could squirt them with a squirt gun, or you could like booby trap, like their locker with like a fake bomb, like literally, a note that would say "bomb, you're dead," something like that, right? But because of this, lots and lots of people were carrying squirt guns around the school, which is why this would never, ever, ever happen today. Because can you imagine if an entire class of kids showed up to a school today with squirt guns? Like, there would be panic, not unjustifiably considering some of the things that have happened. But basically what happens is we're in English class and we have this substitute teacher. And everybody has squirt guns, right? And what do you get when you put a bunch of kids with teenagers with squirt guns in a room with a person that they basically don't respect? You get chaos is what you get. Now, generally speaking, when we would have substitute teachers, I would do nothing, bad, so to speak. I would just do my work or whatever, I was supposed to do, listen to the lesson, whatever. But for whatever reason that day, I get caught up in the chaos. And the chaos included all of us, high schoolers running around the room, squirting each other with squirt guns, opening one of the windows to the room, which was an outside-facing room, and removing the screen, and then climbing outside and running around outside, squirting each other during class. Well, this teacher had been attempting to, hold the fort down at the very least. I don't know if he was even qualified to actually teach English, as it were, but that's beside the point anyway. So, I'm caught up in this madness, and I'm running around acting like a little jerk, just like all the rest of the kids are. And class ends, and then I go on with my day and do my thing. And then, that weekend, that Saturday, so less than 7 days after participating in the chaos and being a jerk to this teacher, I have to go DJ a wedding. And I go to the place that the wedding's taking place, and I go into the office of the facilities manager, and guess who was sitting there? It was the substitute teacher that I had just had that earlier that week while we were running around acting like total hooligans. And I felt about this tall when I walked in and I saw him. Because here now I'm supposed to be this professional person in this professional capacity. I'm a DJ. I've got a responsibility to go in there, set up my equipment, entertain these people, and be part of this event that this facilities manager's got to oversee. And this guy sees me as this jackass, high school student who just participated in this mass squirt gun, craziness in this class that he was trying to oversee. I felt like a horrible, teeny tiny human being when I saw him. He didn't mention it, I didn't mention it, and everything went fine, but boy oh boy did that really change my perception of things, and it really helped me realize that the actions you take in one context can come back and bite you in the ass in another context. So that was a lesson learned for me. It's not a hilarious story, but I've never forgotten that because of that lesson that I've learned. Can you guys hear the music today? I'm jamming it today. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So what I'm planning for the dark theme, I should actually show you guys what I'm planning for the dark theme. Let me show you what I'm planning. Did I save it? I think I saved it on here. Yes. It's inspired by this right here. The stories I could tell. Did you know Spyros was such a hooligan? I wasn't really a hooligan, actually, despite the stories that I'm telling. This is the photo. This is the image that's inspiring what I'm going to shoot for my dark theme photo. But I'm going to be using gels, and I've got a couple of other things in my pocket that I plan to pull out for my shot. So I'm excited about my dark theme photo. Yeah, my wife could tell some choice stories about me as probably a pretty some pretty amusing stories about me. She's got all the dirt. All right. I'm going lighter on this dodge and burn because the haze here is diminishing the contrast in the image. And while I want to bring some of that contrast back, if you go too far, it looks like too much. So I'm going fairly easy on this dodge and burn. Calling images. Christian, how's it going? I was a good kid. College, on the other hand. Yeah, college, right? College is where we all go crazy, though, isn't it? So what I want to do here is just hit some of the See, that even that looks too much. Gosh, I'm going to take this down even further. Take this flow down to like 4. There, that's a little bit better. Because if you go too much there, you guys, hopefully you saw how bad that looked. And I just want to pop a little bit of contrast back in here. Spill the tea. Then I can concentrate on editing. Oh boy. Yeah, if you want to tell some stories, hon, you go right ahead. I'm trying to think of other crazy stories. Oh, there was the there was the one time in high school. Okay, how many of you have done this? I don't spill those until I've had a few glasses of wine, right? How many of you guys have done this as kids, where you get together with a friend or two, and all of you tell each other's parents that you're all staying overnight at everybody else's house? I mean, this is like a classic kid thing to do. And then you spend the entire night like roving around town wherever you live. I did that one night and had quite a fun time. So I'll tell you guys that story as well. But you guys got to tell me your going out night on the town stories, because some of you had to have done that too. I'll feel like I'll feel all alone if nobody else did that. All right, what I do want to do is get this horn. Shit, I did that every weekend. I was a wild child out of control. Sandy, you got me beat. In the middle of Angela's forehead, is that a stencil? That is a stencil, Kim. That Noelle used that stencil, yes. Okay, so my story is this. It was just me and one friend. His name was Chris, if I remember correctly. And we did that. Ooh! You did a shoot with color gels in a fog machine, Christian? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I gotta see the photos, Christian. I gotta see the photos. I'm setting up a share room. Christian, do you want to share a photo or two? Because if you do, I want to see them. And if you do, I'll set up a share room and open it up for you guys to share photos today. So anyway, yeah, we told our parents that we were going to. This probably isn't as good a story as I'm imagining in my head, except for one particular thing. So we told our parents that we were going to stay at each other's houses. And then we lived in a smaller town, too. Hell yes, okay. All right, let me set up the share room. I'm going to go over here, roll the file, and set it up. And then here we go. Rename. All right. What is today? 21/9/0315 SHP. Okay, got it. And the chat. Here's the link. I just need to share this to my iPad. Give me just a second here, and we'll have this done. Here it comes. And I'm going to share this in the chat now. Okay. Let me see your photos, guys. Let me see your photos, Christian. For sure. All right, so we went out, and we were roaming all around, and we lived in a small town, so it wasn't like there was much we could get into as far as like excitement. Literally, like we were riding our bikes at one point through one section of town, and we crossed railroad tracks. And I don't know if this is true or not, but the railroad, you know, the lights and the you know, bells started going off as if a train were coming, but there was no train coming. And my friend Chris said that was because it was past curfew, and that was meant to catch, you know, kids like us who were out roaming around when we weren't supposed to be. That scared the bejesus out of both of us. And we ended up riding from where he lived in DeForest to where I lived in Windsor, which was like, you know, a couple miles away, so it wasn't very far. And then we went to the local fireman's park. And while we were there, just wandering around, walking around the park, sitting on the swings, you know, whatever, we, for some reason, decided to do a little bit of dumpster diving because there was a dumpster right near the park. And when we opened up the dumpster, we hit, for teenage boys, we hit pay dirt. Because we found an entire box of porno magazines in that dumpster. Like, you know, Playboy and Hustler and whatever else. Take your pick. And, oh my God, did we feel like, you know, like literally we had struck gold. We spent the rest of the night doing teenage boy things, looking at the magazines and goggling at the ladies in them. And around like 3 or 4 in the morning, we were finally starting to lose our steam. And we had to figure out like where the heck we were going to sleep. And what we ended up doing... Okay, some of this is too much yet, so I'm actually going to undo some of the dodging and burning that I did by changing the brush, using the brush tool, changing it to 50% gray. If I can actually get it to go to 50%. And then I'm going to brush on that mask layer to remove some of what I had done. It's going to be a low flow, so it's going to slowly kind of take it out. Because that was just looking like too much there. Okay. So yeah, we find this stash of porn. We go through it for hours, and then we need to find a place to sleep. So what we ended up doing was going back to my house, and inside of our garage we had a loft. It was a very tall garage, and there was a loft that we'd store things on. And we climbed up there and we went to sleep. And then woke up like 3 or 4 hours later after my dad had gone to work and went into my house and actually like went to sleep. It was for us, it was like an amazing night because of what we found as teenage boys. Let me take a look here at the share room. Yes, they did. Awesome. Okay, I'll pop these up in a moment. Let me see what you guys are saying. Most embarrassing thing I can think of happened when my oldest was born. Saw a couple in the elevator, and I'm on a high from the birth. I asked the girl when she's due. She had the baby that morning. Oh my gosh. Ouch. Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's an ouch moment. Hello, Paul. Hello. Thanks for joining. How's it going? I'm late again. Sat on the naughty chair. That's okay. I've been in shops looking at white silicone tumblers to use on my flash guns as a Mod Pod works. A Mod Pod? What is a Mod Pod? Are you talking about like are you talking about like something like this pole? Like a mag mod type thing, or like a Gary Fong? It's funny because I just finished the Cobra Flash modifier review. Sandy, let's just say being naked outside in Wisconsin in the middle of the woods in the summer can be really unpleasant with the giant mosquitoes. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, so let's take a look at these. These are out of the camera. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. I like that. I like the grace. I love the look here. I like the shadows you've got. Or no, those shadows are probably just the reflection on your monitor, aren't they? Whoops. Oh, that's amazing. Christian, these are awesome. I like these. These are straight out of the camera. That's fabulous. Oh, yeah. Christian, these are awesome. Thank you for sharing these. These are beautiful. Yeah, I love these. These are great. Yeah, these are really cool. I really like this one a lot. This one is awesome. These are amazing, Christian. Amazing. Thank you for sharing these, Christian. These are awesome. If anybody else wants to share photos, go right ahead. Okay, I think I feel better about this dodge and burn. I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit, though, too, just to soften it up even more. Yeah, that looks better. You got to be careful when you're dodging and burning something like this. Okay, so now let's go. I think, hey, guys, back for a minute or two. Awesome photo. How's it going? Finn. I've made a teeny tiny bit of progress here, but honestly, I think I might actually finish this edit only because it's not like a super duper complicated edit today. So we're going to do the eyes real quick, which really is just one move, and that's because her eyes are closed. So I'm going to delete those two, and then this is just going to sharpen up a couple of elements. I need to change that back to white. Flow is good, and brush in some sharpness here and here. I need to take care of her lips. And the easiest way to do that is actually going to be, just because I want the right color, I'm going to grab this lips layer. And there's my color right there. And I'm going to jot that down in my notebook. Yes, still doing the Dark Challenge stream. It's actually on Monday. Unless Sunday is Monday? No, you're in... I don't know where... You're in Texas? It's on Sunday. Paul, thank you so much for your super chat. That is incredibly generous of you to do. Thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate that. And it's very kind of you and very... it's amazing. Thank you very much. That's so nice of you. Okay, what I did here is I grabbed this color reference because that's the color that I painted on the lips before, and I want to paint that in on the lips. Hello, Lens Passions. How's it going? Just seeing if anybody shared anything else. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is create a new pixel layer. We're going to do that. We'll do that actually over here. Pixel layer and brush. And oh, look at that. 189, 47, 60. Perfect. It's waiting there for me. Now let's paint that bad boy in. Oh, I forgot the blend mode I got to use. I think it's color, but let me go double check. I'm pretty sure the blend mode I used is color. Lips. Yep, it is color. Perfect. It costs money to sit on the naughty chair. Right, Shane, right. That's funny. All right, brush, color is right. Flow is good. Blend mode, let's change the blend mode to color, and then we'll just see it paint right in there, and it'll look amazing. Color, 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 there it is right there. All right, here we go. Brush size needs to be smaller, and get in there and get those lips painted up. There we go. Look at that. Instant lipstick. I mean, she already had lipstick on, but we're just kind of tidying it up a little bit here. And that's a little strong, so I'm going to just take it down a hair. That looks pretty good, just like that. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe just a hair less. We'll take it down to like 73 or 4. Okay, good, good, good. All right, so we got that. Now we need to add the flare to the globe, and we already have that layer in place, and I started monkeying around with it. But what I'm actually going to do is delete the mask as a starting point, because I'm going to do things a little bit reversed. I'm going to delete that mask, and I need to go back to here and check the blend mode that I was using, because I want these to all look consistent. So I'm actually going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to copy this gradient layer right here, this gradient map, because that's my color grade. And I am going to look at this layer here to check the blending mode, which is screen. So this one here, let's place that on the paste board, copy, and then head over to the other image. I'm going to drop that gradient map in right away and then turn it off for now. Paste. And then turn this over to screen blend. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to get this in place. But we got some photos shared here, so I got to jump over and see what you guys got going on. Ooh, Edith bought her second 8200. That is awesome, 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 awesome. I love working with lights. Love, love, love working with lights. All right, I just shared a shot done 2 weeks ago, still clearing up the mess. Ooh, this ought to be good. It costs £5 to sit in the naughty chair. That's the new rule. You show up late, you gotta pay to sit in the naughty chair. Going back to here to see what other photos you guys are sharing. Let me refresh it. All right. Oh, dang. Dean, that looks awesome. Holy smokes, that's great. I love it. I love the light. I love the look. I love the glitter. That's a brilliant idea. Glitter on a drum like that. Oh my God, that is so cool. That is so cool, Dean. Thank you for sharing this. This is amazing. This is a beautiful photo. Oh, and you got just a little bit of blur. Check that out. You got just a little bit of motion blur on that drumstick there. Captures that energy. These are super cool. You guys, I love... Ah! Look at that. Got the Heniadis rocking the jam there. Oh, these are so cool. Yeah, these are super dope, guys. Paint powder. Oh, paint powder. That's... I'm jotting myself a note so I don't forget that. Paint... Actually, I should put the note on the computer because that's really where I'll remember it. Note, paint powder for photo shoots. Where do you get paint powder? Can you get it on Amazon? I would imagine. I would bet you could get it on Amazon. Amazon paint powder. I'm looking right now. This is super, super cute. Ah, God, I love this. Her expression. I love her dance move. These are amazing. I got the gold chain. Oh, please tell me. I'm hoping you got one in here where she's got a big old Flavor Flav clock on. That would be so cool. Oh yeah, you can get paint powder on Amazon for sure. Look at that. Holy crap. 130 bucks for 5 pounds of 6 colors. Ooh, that's cool. Got yours from a local craft store. These photos are absolutely wonderful. Okay, so those are just doubles of the other photos. These are great. Thank you so much for sharing, you guys. I love seeing your photos. These are amazing. Ah. God, she's so cute. I'm just looking at that again. Yeah, I mean, I've still done a little bit of editing today, Jason. Just a little bit. I'm actually going to finish a photo. It's almost 1 o'clock, but we're going to finish this. So we've got this in place. Let's get this bad boy done. We need to make that, I think, a little bit smaller. That looks pretty good. I think a little bit less opacity too, so that it doesn't look quite so... That looks a little too on top. So I think something like that will work, around 62% or so. Good. And we're going to put it kind of right there. Finish a photo, mind blown. We couldn't find a clock in time from the shoot. I was borrowing studio time. Oh, still, Shane, those are fabulous photos. Those are absolutely fabulous, and I love them. Thank you for sharing them. All right, now back to the mask, okay? So now I've got this one in place. Her lips look really out of place. It's the same lip that we've done in the others. I think if I take it down some more, I think that'll help. Yeah, I took it down a little bit more because I think you're right. I think it was a little too intense in this one. So that should help a little bit. But back to the masking question that you had earlier, Tim, just to kind of talk you through this process one more time. So I have this image in place and it's all set. Now what I'm actually going to do here is, instead of putting a empty layer mask on here, which would cover that up and hide the whole thing, I'm going to put a blank mask layer. And what that blank mask layer is going to do is be filled with white, right? So now the entirety of this image is still showing. And what I want to do here is take my brush and change the color to black. And then I'm going to set my flow fairly low, like 20-30% here. And take a big, soft brush, and you can see my hardness is already set to 0. And I'm going to start brushing out the edges of this image. So you can see those edges there exist until I start brushing them away. And now this glow looks nice and integrated and natural because I've just gone and hidden the edges of that image. And now we just have this nice light glow coming out of this globe. And it looks really nice. I'm just looking to see if I missed any of the edging. I don't think I did. So that looks pretty good. And I've already got my gradient map there, so I can pop that on for the color grade. And I think that's a wrap on a photo. Like, done. Which is a shocker, right? Excuse me. I really like the way that gradient map adds to the image. And I think that helps bring the colors a little bit closer together too. That looks really good. All right, so I'm going to export this so I don't forget. Export TIFF. And that goes into shortcuts and export. And also save my copy. And I think we're going to wrap this bad boy up. I hope you guys have had a good time hanging out with me on this Friday for our regular Hangout chat. Like I mentioned, the live stream, the photo shoot using the light tent, the 4-foot cube light tent that I built, will be on April, again, I'm looking at the calendar to make sure I don't screw up the date, April 5th at noon, so Friday. And Monday is going to be... Oh, Dean, do you have one of the poster paint photos to share? Oh, God, if you do, I want to see one because that would look awesome. Oh, God, Dean, please tell me you've got one that you can share. Well, that's a giant 4-foot cube light tent meant for the photo shoot. I could do a DIY video on it, but I don't know if that's exactly the kind of light tent that most people want to build. And I do have the DIY light tent video on my channel already, the one that's under $10 using dollar store materials. But that's meant for tabletop. This is literally meant for a person to climb inside of and pose. In fact, I'm going to climb inside you guys so you can see it. Upload it. Okay, cool. I'll bring that up in just a second. So Angela's going to be posing in here. Working with this space, and I'm going to be lighting this up using the same kind of idea as the Drake Hotline Bling video. Okay, I gotta see this photo of Dean's. Let me pop over to Safari, and there it is. Oh yeah, that is awesome, Dean. Oh my God, this is great. These photos you shot here, Dean, are awesome. I love these. These are so cool. Thank you so much for sharing these. That's a glorious mess. That's the kind of mess that I would make. Oh God. All right, you guys. That's super dope. Shane, your photos of the kid, super, super cute. Let's wrap this bad boy up. We're going to call it a day. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the Friday Hangout session. And like I said, we'll be back next. I'll be back for the photo shoot with Angela on the 5th. Monday is the dark challenge, so don't forget to take your dark photo and be prepared to share that on Monday. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Be safe. Make sure you get out there and take some damn photos. Adios, amigos. Bye. I gotta find the stop button. Where is it? There it is. Ah!